I'm Lady Zelda. Welcome to Vale Keep. Hello there, my darlings. Welcome to Vale Keep. I love this, don't you? Listen, I fall in love with this channel more and more every week. But we've got a show for you, and things are really starting to shape up. And I want to ask you to please like and subscribe. Shaggy Noodle says hello. It's one of those days that sometimes you just need your mama, right? Hello. And the lighting is a little off today because it has been a little stormy here, cloudy, and I just can't get it right. So bear with me. And thank you so much. I love that music too. Don't you? I love it. I love it. I've got so much to talk to you about, my darlings. Yes, the cat is a fashion piece. And I got to tell you this. I wish I had a nickel. No, I don't. But I wish I had a nickel for every time that someone wants to complain a little bit about the kitties and about, oh, you better feed your cat. Oh, can you keep your cats quiet? Oh, well, you need to take care of your cat. Bye. That's how I think. Bye. No, bye. Look, they are perfectly happy, right? Hello. This is my little noodle. He's here because he knows Captain Harris is going to be here. There you are. It is a good, thank you so much. This is part of the 4-pack that I got from the Talkie Tick shop. I can say that. And I love them. I have a favorite pair, I think, but I've got one more pair that I need to put in there. Thank you so much. Right, Patty? Right? Anybody? Right? I bet I had to take 2 people off of the channel just today alone from that, because they don't like it when they meow during my readings. Well, I'm certainly not going to tell them to be quiet. If they want to meow, they can meow. This is their home. And look, everyone who is in the chat, our little friend, the sweetheart from New York, Doria Vex. And if you have not subscribed to her channel, please do me a favor and do that. The link is in the show notes in the description. If you want to do that, the content is so good and so mysterious. I love it because, that's kind of my gig. So go over there, check her out. Oh, good, Bev. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, yes, thank you, Doria, for being here. Love it that you are. And, a lot of you are saying that you love the intro. I love the intro, too. And that brings me to, I'm gonna let a couple more people come in, because then we're going to start, because Lord Greggor has a couple of messages for you, each and every one of you. And we're so excited. I love the kitties too, because you know what? Look at him. How really? Just between us, if you know, maybe these people took the money that they were supposed to spend on charm school and spend it somewhere else. I mean, who knows? Or it could just be that they went to the School of Proctor, or maybe both. No, I'm going to tell you, my darling, I think these guys have always been little love boats. They always have been, because, well, when they were little, this is all I ever did was hug them. So that's their normal. So that's okay. So yeah, there you go, Cat Granny. Hello, and thank you so much. Our kitties are our family, right? Kitties are the family. They're guarding our, oh yeah, aw, really? Oh, how sweet. Do you like the music? I like it too. It's taken me a little bit. Now, I'm just going to share a few things with you. I was asked to use a particular software. I don't know if it's called a software app, a website, whatever it is. I was invited to use it. This last video that you saw of Lord Greggor laying around in the mud like he doesn't have anything to do, right? All jokes aside, with the lore of the ravens, I just love that. And we actually found that in one of the books from Vale Keep. And I said, oh my heck, we've got to do something with this. And you know what he said to me? Wait, I have to get the brow like he does. Valiana, I wish I could do that accent. I never could. And anyway, Valiana, I do remember a raven sitting beside me. Okay, say no more. Say no more. So you're going to see, now it's taken me a little longer to put these things out because it is so real. Now, what you're seeing are images of the avatar of Lord Greggor. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, that's him, because it's not. But the tubes of you want more series, and they love these type of things. I write all the scripts. He does a lot of voiceovers, and I do the narration. And we are just having a wonderful time. We're having a lot of fun doing this. And this same software, sorry, I've got a little ring in my ear. Coming from my Energy Doesn't Lie. The numbers don't lie. That's in my shop. Pardon me. So the I've used that software, whatever, I don't know what to call it, that site, to make what you're seeing in the last 2 or 3 weeks with Lord Greggor. This little guy is happy and he's shedding. Woo! Oh, have you watched it several times? I'll tell you what, I have two. I looked at him and I said, I got to tell you this. If I didn't know that that was not you laying in the mud, I would swear that that was him laying in the mud. And he watched it because, listen, he's not one to sit around at night and say, oh, let's pop in a movie, right? Just no. Got better things to do. And I always put things in front of him before I post it on here. And I want you to know, he was without words. And that's something, because that man is never without words. He was without words. And that one where I had the epic, it's volume 1 of all this music where he's standing there and he walks around on the back. I had to look a couple of times. And I told him, look, if I don't see you for a while, I'll just pop that on. And he, you know, Valiana. Anyway, I love it. I love it. So I want to thank you all for being here. And what you're going to see is some pretty cool things and some pretty cool update. I am going to put my little thing up there, my little QR code. So thank you, Karen. I loved it. And I love the fact that you guys love it too. So I'm just not going to be, I'm not going to lie to you. That's him, but it's not him. Okay. It's an AI. It's an AI avatar. So, but I just feel so blessed that I was invited. And listen, it's tapping the old girl, because, you know, I'm pretty proud of myself being able to come in and really be able to do these things. And there's sometimes I sit here and I think, woof, What have I signed up for? Okay, so now we are going to give you an update on Vale Keep. And this is from Lord Greggor. Let me set this up for you. This is him standing. Don't you love the mountains? That is the Šumava Mountains at the gate of the Carpathian Arc. Get stuck in those ones and you'll know, right? You'll know. So here is Lord Greggor. He's going to be talking and telling you about some things, and then I'm going to show you some images. So without further ado, here is our beloved Lord Greggor. And then I got a couple of things I'm going to add. Here we are.
Good evening, my friends. One of the questions I am asked most often concerns the future of Vale Keep. More specifically, people wish to know whether I intend to modernize the castle or preserve it exactly as it once was. The answer is neither. One advantage of living for several centuries is that one eventually stops believing every new invention is the final answer to humanity's problems. I have watched remarkable ideas appear, flourish, and disappear again. Entire industries have risen and fallen during a single lifetime. At least a normal lifetime. A castle teaches patience. The stone does not concern itself with trends. As we continue the renovation, I find myself returning to a simple principle. Anything we add should make the keep more resilient, not more dependent. There is a difference. Many modern buildings function beautifully until something stops working. A storm arrives. A line fails. A system shuts down. Suddenly, a structure worth millions becomes uncomfortable within hours. That has never seemed particularly wise to me. If Vale Keep is to endure another century, or perhaps several more, it must be capable of caring for itself as much as possible. Heating is an excellent example. The mountain itself provides opportunities that many people overlook. The earth is remarkably patient. Beneath our feet, temperatures remain far more stable than the weather above. For centuries, people have used the natural properties of stone, water, and the ground itself to create surprisingly comfortable environments. We are exploring methods that work with the mountain, rather than constantly fighting against it. I have no desire to fill every corner of the keep with humming machinery that requires 3 manuals and an engineer to understand. The same philosophy applies to water. People often assume reliable water is a modern achievement. In truth, gravity has been performing its duties faithfully for a very long time. Builders understood this hundreds of years ago. If water begins above you, and you are clever enough in how you guide it, much of the work is done for you. The mountain provides elevation. Elevation provides pressure. Pressure provides water. There is a certain elegance in that arrangement. The older I become, the more I appreciate systems that continue functioning quietly without demanding constant attention. That is not to say the keep must reject every modern convenience. I am not interested in returning to the 16th century entirely. Those who romanticize the past often forget how cold it could be and how frequently things attempted to kill you. There are comforts worth keeping. There are improvements worth embracing. The challenge lies in distinguishing between what is useful and what is merely fashionable. A castle that has survived hundreds of years develops a personality of its own. One does not simply arrive with a set of blueprints and impose one's will upon it. The building has opinions, the mountain has opinions. Occasionally the workers have opinions as well, though I find those are usually accompanied by invoices. What we are attempting is not a restoration of the past. nor is it the construction of something entirely new. We are trying to create a keep that feels as though it has continued living naturally through the centuries, adapting where necessary, preserving what matters, and remaining prepared for whatever the future may bring. After all, if one intends to stay somewhere for another few hundred years, it is worth doing the job properly. Thank you, my friends, and I shall keep you informed as the work continues.
I'll get it together. Okay. And thank you so much, Your Grace. I'll tell you what, I just am watching all the comments and I just love each and every one of you. And I know that you have a lot of questions. So I'm going to, we've got one more little presentation because he's like, oh, Valiana, I forgot. Okay, so here we are. Thank you, Doria. I do believe he is very handsome and I'm very blessed to have him. So let me key up this. Here we go for the next little one. You've seen this one before. So here we are again, once more.
The images that Lady Zelda is showing you on her screen are those we have imagined and our goal to stylize for Vale Keep. She has done a remarkable job of providing the visuals that we all need that will help us decide more about rooms, placements within the keep and other most necessary things. You may believe we are starting over. In a way, we are doing just that. However, we are doing this in a way that will preserve Vale Keep in the memories of centuries gone by. You will be also interested in knowing we have reimagined the Vale Keep banners, flags and insignia. This is a time to celebrate Vale Keep for the time it has endured. Since it will no longer be a working castle, I will be still working from here. Many good things have been happening, and we would like to thank you for your support in being here for Vale Keep, Lady Zelda and myself. We consider you a part of this adventure with us. And adventure it has been with many historical as well as incredible finds within the walls. All is well here and we express our thank you. I am your friend, Lord Greggor of Vale Keep.
And very, how do I want to say, formal. There we are. And thank you, Your Grace. I really appreciate you. I know he's watching. And you know, weather is a little tough where he is right now. So he watches and sometimes he has to pick up and watch later on, and that's fine. So anyway, yes, his clothing, if you would just, if you would see. So anyway, before we go, well, we're not going anywhere. Before we continue with this furry thing hanging on me, I'm going to show you a few things that he's talking about. Now, the images that I've made, we decided that instead of trying to sit down and think about it's Kling AI, instead of sitting down and trying to work out floor plans, because I have to see, and sometimes I can't convey what I feel because he knows what's best for Vale Keep. I have a little bit of input too, as we know. So it's better to make these images and say, you see this over here. This is what I want. Now, what you're seeing behind me is actually what I would like to have. He has a Balkan accent, my darlings. What I would like to have as my own little personal study. Now, what you're seeing here is still the limestone, still a lot of materials that have been used from Vale Keep. We're repurposing a lot of things, but this is the best way for me to show exactly what I feel is best. So I'm going to just kind of go through this and show you exactly what we've come up with. This, my darlings, would be not yet pretty close to the inside courtyard of Vale Keep. And you can see he loves those emblems and insignias. Hey, we're going to let the man have what he wants. And you can see that he's got a water well there, which I'm going to say one of these days, I'm going to get the fur off of my lipstick from Shaggy Noodle. So one of these days, though, I do want to talk about the cistern wells and the water. And what he talks about is because they do have running water there, but gravity is their friend. And a lot of the water that comes down from the mountains. Now, this Vale Keep, I'm just going to say, we have found in the archives of Vale Keep that right after he was in the Bohemian conflict of the 30 Years' War, he went back to Vale Keep, and that's when it was established, and that is the year that he will be establishing it as, because it's from the late 1300s, my darlings, the 14th century. So you can imagine why some of it has been crumbling. But you see, limestone is millions of years old. You can't even carbon date it. There's no way of dating anything like limestone. The catacombs are still there. They're going to fill some of them in because there's just no purpose for them anymore. There were hidden ways to get out, hidden, all these other things. They don't need that. It is no longer a working castle. So you're going to see that this grandioso former working castle, I don't want to say is going to be condensed, but it's going to be more realistic, especially for him since he's there. And I wanted to put this horse and the wagon and the barrels and all these things in there to give you an idea of the proportions, because my friends, when I first saw this, unbelievable. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. So that's number one. And let me go as the cats walk by, please, then thank you. And let me continue here. I'm just going to basically show you what we have in here. Here's another little that I animated for you, and this is what it's going to look like now. You see, I know you see the windows on either side. That would be a walkway to get to the turrets at the end. So technically, they are guard towers. Right now, they're going to be used for pretty much aesthetic purposes, but see, this is his home, and that's what he's used to. We're not going to take that away. So here's another little, we're going to add this to the stage, pardon me. We're going to remove this, and I have another one to add to the stage. Here we are. And you're going to see this moving through, and you see those windows on the outside. Those windows on the outside. So these areas are very narrow, and they will have fireplaces in them because the main heating source is, in fact, fire. But the way now that they're going to be putting windows in is going to be a heat source. They're going to be, and funny enough, there are ways to put reflective surfaces in these rooms so it becomes a heat source, and it's not just for aesthetic purposes. So I'm going to play that again because this is one of my favorite things. So this is, there we go. We're walking down that hall or that entry through the courtyard would be out that window. And so those doorways would go into more of an inner court area. But this is where it would be, because you know what? If somebody came into the courtyard and you wanted to see what was going on, Now you can open up this one of these windows and look down on the courtyard and literally see. So he has agreed with a lot of this stylizing, because I want to tell you, being from the 13th century, 14th century, pardon me, 14th century, some of the parts are, it's dark. It's dark. And I remember this past winter seeing an example of a wing being opened and seeing the ice that was this thick on the interior walls, which means you have to keep a fireplace going in almost every room throughout the entire winter and even the spring before so it doesn't get ruined. That was something, pardon me, that was something that he was unable to do, because first of all, it's just really him. He has I'm going to tell you the names of his stewards. You're going to love it. Norbert is his steward, who's been there with him for a long time. It was his great grandfather, I think, that was around the World War I era that met Lord Greggor. Then his wife is Hannelore, and I love her, and I love her name. And she's the master of the hearth room, which is the kitchen. And I don't want to say master. That's not right. But she is the expert in that, because so far they don't have modern convenience. So it's cooking on old wood stoves. They don't have refrigerators, but this is cold area here. So they don't need a lot of that. What they're wanting is to bring the heat in. And there is a very short window of time during the late spring, summer months that it's warm, and then boom, back to winter again. So that is something else. So I did, hey, put me onto this stuff and I go a little wild. Here is another side of one of those hallways that I wanted to show you. In fact, I think that one's the same one I just animated. But you can see that they are narrow. They're in walkways, and then they can go into those guard towers at the end. And then then you can see the doors there, and that's where you hang your keys. The keys help to keep the negativity out, and also helps you unlock the door. So there you are. So that's one. Let's go into this other one. Here is this other. Now this is a little bit warmer. You can see the outside there. Lord Greggor has a pair of his boots right there by the door. Don't you love that? This door would be going into his private chamber, and I won't show that because that is his private area. But I did want to open that door and give you an idea that when he opens that door, it looks right over into that window, and then you can go further here. So there will be, on the other side of the boots, there is a door, and there will be a short balcony, a small balcony that goes, like if he wanted to go outside, check things, whatever. And then of course you can see a coat, and then he has a small area. It's one thing about this persona of Vale Keep and the persona of Lord Greggor. There are books in almost every room. That is why he is so well read. But many of the books from the scriptorium are being moved into other areas of the castle. So that's where it is. Now, I've done something kind of fun. I wanted to show an idea because I saw one of the older books from the library and the scriptorium that described a courtyard. And this is what my version of that courtyard would be. You see that short balcony right there? That is where we just visited. But this would be most likely in the 14th, 15th century. And you can see that the horses were kept in an area close to, in the courtyard. Number one, for warmth. It may not have smelled so great, but that didn't bother me. But for warmth, and for if you needed to leave pretty quickly, hello, there you go. So that was it in a nutshell. In the end, I'm going to give you my rendering. Now, it's probably not going to look like this, but it's probably going to be close, and it's going to be my rendering of Vale Keep. And this is it for you, my darlings. The third floor has been removed, and it does look like it is very, very big, only because of the way that it's seated on that mountain. And it was built that way because you can see it would be very hard to be attacked in the 13th, 14th, and 15th centuries. You couldn't get to it. There's only one way in and one way out, and it's on the far side. Some of the wall has been taken out and replaced, and the bell tower is actually on the other side as well. I'm going to point out this bell tower that we did see a little earlier there standing with Lord Greggor. The bell tower is, as you can see, behind him over his right shoulder. He has in Innsbruck, Austria, is making him a new bell. And this bell now, because the old one is just too old, it will crack if they start ringing it again and doing all kinds of things. And then there is a walkway that goes around it, and then below it is like a spiral staircase that goes up to that main bell area. So there's a lot of things here, but those are what the balconies are going to be looking like. That's what a lot of those things are going to be looking like. So this is taken from the description from him, the description of that area. So if you ever wonder what the Šumava Mountains Carpathian Arc looks like, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. And he loves the mountains, and you know what? So do I. Here's something that I'm really happy about, and he is too. He has gone through, since we found those books of the 30 Years' War, and that's some of the renderings that we've been showing you through these little movies that we're making. We're having a blast really doing that. It's just, I want to thank you for your patience, because they're taking me a little longer. But you know what? I think they're more quality, and the more that we go along, the more quality that they're going to be. So without further ado, I would like to present to you the new flags, the banners. Let me move this little goodie off of there we go. The new flags, the new pendants, and the new standards and seal of Vale Keep. Those in itself are the colors. They're not new to Vale Keep, but they are updated. They are updated. And we have new meanings for the arcs. There's a war banner. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But those are what goes up in case something happens. And there you see a little example there at the bottom underneath those color swatches, what it would look like. I love the wax seal as well, Captain Harris. I just love that. We hold the arc, we keep the passage, we are Vale Keep. And I just am so in love with this whole idea. And then you see the rider's pendant. So the rider's pendant is, say, for instance, you were out having, you were going somewhere, okay, by horse. You would have a rider that would have at least one, the pendant of Vale Keep. So, or pennant, not pendant, pardon me, a pennant. So that is the crest, Fide, Fortitine, fortitude, I think it's whatever. I'll have to ask him again. And basically it means forever, fortitude, and perseverance. So that's what he's come up with. And there's the monogram. I have an old monogram that I'm going to really start embroidering on some things that I have. And that's where we are with all of this. We're just so excited. We're so excited. Let me see if there's anything more. Oh, yeah. Now I'm going to give you a little preview of the coming attraction of this next. It's just an image. It's just an image. Thank you so much. You all are so wonderful. You know what, Captain Harris? I think so too. We talked about that. We are going to update some of the merchandise in Vale Keep store. So we definitely stickers, the flags, the pendants. And this, believe me, in normal everyday life, I would not have all of these banners and, all of this on the embroider on everything, because it's even here on the desk runner, what they call a desk runner. And I mean, it's an overkill, but it's there to give you an idea of that's what it would look like. That would probably stay. That would probably stay. I love that. A beautiful monogram on a handkerchief. Absolutely. What I want to do is get pillowcases. Now, I've got some other things I want to talk to you about too. But first of all, I'm going to give you a little, yes, the Vale Keep candles. We do have some in the shop, but I need to update those. They're soy candles. Soy candles are safer for you and your pets because, sometimes we get these very beautiful candles and they have this beautiful smell and throw. That's what they call the smell. It's not good for your lungs. It's not good for pets either. And I don't have them around, but the soy candles are okay. They're very earthy. Thank you, Pickles Mama Llama. I'll take that. Thank you. And I'm not even an actress. Anyway, a blanket throw is right. Now, I'm going to keep those for sure. Now, this is my sweater from my channel, Seeing Crime. It is embroidered in this channel. The one that I've picked out for Vale Keep is actually white with a tan. The tan ribbing that goes around here, the tan ribbing that goes around the cuff. And I love this because you can see you can wear the cuff either this way, right? Or you can fold it. I fold it because it's actually a cardigan. I am selling the sweaters as well. But for Vale Keep, it will have either Vale Haven or Vale Keep. Vale Haven is the whole area around Vale Keep. Vale Keep is considered the castle, and this is considered Shaggy Noodle climbing back on Mommy again. So that's, he would not wear a monogram on a handkerchief. That's not what he would do. He would because it's more military. This is continental. This is a continental. It's not like a high British. It's not Downton Abbey. This is more of a working military nobleman type thing. But this is what I want to show you. This next video that's going to be coming out after Vespara, you saw her reach down to Lord Greggor. That's the first time that came about. This is the map based on, I've taken this from historical map, added a few things from Lord Greggor's lore, added a few things from this, added a few things from that. And you see right there, number 1 is where the battlefield was. That's near the Bohemia area. And it's my understanding that was about a 60 to 70, maybe 75 mile from going through the battlefield, the crossing, through the ruined outpost, up through the mountain pass, and back to Vale Keep. So that is the map, and we will show the progression in that video. I might even put the map in the shop on something. You just don't know. Just don't know. But here, I'm just really happy to show this. This is after one of the scenes that will be coming up in the movie. And let me set the center stage. Once and this is Shaggy Noodle. Riley is, where is Riley? Oh, he's sitting right over here on top of my printer. Keeping it warm, because he knows he's not allowed to be there. And if I start paying attention and saying, get off there, well, where else could he come except on me? So we're just going to leave him there. So now I'm going to give you a little idea about the situation from the 30 Years' War. This was in 1632. Okay, Kimberly, we'll try to put some things together. He is a big boy, Terry. So once that battle was over, you see Vespara and Lunara standing in the background. They were war mares, taught to be in wars, not to flinch, not to be scared. If, loud bangs and everything else, that's basically it. And they were standing there. Their riders had fallen. There were officers, and they had fallen and were no longer here with us. So he was laying there. Oh, look at this. Hello. He was laying there, and that's when Vespara came over to him. And then they started hearing it. There were those after a battlefield that would take place that were scavengers that would come after the battles. And they would come in, and they were hungry. And if they found anybody that were alive, they would not any longer be that way. They would steal, and those horses would not be with us long. They would become a part of the spoils of war and dinner. And once he woke up and he did say that he heard a whisper that says Veilborn, and that woke him up. And that is what jarred him back to reality, because he did hear that, and this is the way the story goes. He did hear that these people were coming. They were going to start scavenging. They were going to start picking over the battlefield. But he himself knew what would happen to the two horses and to him if he stayed around. The two horses helped him get up. He got on, I don't know how he did it, but he got up on Vespara, and they left. And they were being chased. And they were chased almost the whole entire time. Here is one scene that is a still image from that. And you can see that LG, Lord Greggor, was injured in this scene. And here you go. This is him on Vespara. Lunara is right behind. And there are and he said they were that close. He said it a couple of times. They were that close. And she knew enough to follow. I mean, he knew enough that he could guide her. But she knew enough that she had to continue and go on. So he said he didn't have time to be scared because he was very injured, and he was worried about Lunara keeping up because she was kind of smaller than Vespara. Vespara is a big girl. And so he was a little afraid of her not being able to keep up, and he was doing everything that he could to get her to continue. But he said they were almost on the run. Not the entire time, because it's not a good to run a horse like that. But he said they had to keep ahead of them, and sometimes they would hide in the forest, or sometimes they would go off and they would, and they would basically stand and look around and wait for them to come back out. He said he didn't sleep, but he was literally almost unconscious the entire time, but was aware of everything. This is the first time that he had ever endured anything like this. And he said he knew. And he said, first of all, that he was told that any mortal man would have never survived. Now, he is human, but a mortal man would have never survived his injuries. And he said when he got back to Vale Keep, and wait till you see the images of him getting back to Vale Keep. I mean, it was like everybody going into action, the bells ringing, and his posse going back out of the courtyard. And I mean, it was really, really something to hear. That's just amazing story. And so he said it's a time in which you have a lot to reflect on. Took him a long time to heal, and he still has that injury on his left shoulder. Doesn't hurt him. He has a very high pain tolerance. But something more severe could take him out. That's why I've been very concerned about the renovation of Vale Keep, because frankly, when they were taking that third floor off, there were a couple times that it was so rickety and so bad that we were afraid that it was going to fall in. And there were many nights that he slept in the stable. And you can imagine that took a lot for him, because things were just really unsteady. So he had to have some people come in, and believe me, get your checkbook out, right? This is, but the way he's going to do it now, the way that I have imagined this, and I'm just going to say that, is that the rooms are going to feel smaller because they'll be able to contain the heat. Because remember, heat rises. So they'll be able to contain the heat in the rooms a lot easier. They're going to be brighter. They're not going to be this dark, dreary. Most of those massive, beautiful, stairways are no longer there. But they don't really hold a function, because you have to think, those massive, they're like 3 stories high. All of that is so cold. So there you go. All right, so we've got a couple of questions here. We're going to answer those. Gosh, we've been here for almost an hour already. Here we are. Was he happy or sad? Pardon me. To be immortal, I don't think he would be. He doesn't know any different. He doesn't know any different. This is, if he had to choose it over again, most likely he would not. But he doesn't know any different. So he feels that this is his lot in life. And believe me, lots of good stories are coming out, and I've learned a lot. And we are almost finished with the editing of his book, Immortal Principles for Mortal Living. And wait until you read this. I have learned so much. It's amazing. That's a great question, though. Thank you there, my darling. Thank you. Carol, my darling, how did you receive these images? I made them. So all these images belong to Vale Keep. We now have a production company. It's called Vale Haven, and I'm going to show that for you right now. It is Vale Haven Productions. Let me show this. Maybe I'll show you. Here we are. Here's one of the images. Oh, I've got to get rid of something to show it to you. All right, I will. Here we are. I had too many things up there. Couldn't do it. All right, let me see. Here we are. This is one of the images that we'll be using throughout, but we have another one as well. So this is the end screen, maybe. There we are. This is the end screen that perhaps we will use. I think I need to go through it and just kind of think things through a little bit. I don't know if I want that raven on there a lot, but this is kind of where we're going with it. So just so you know, I actually love this, by the way. And the book will be offered on the True Oracle website, because that's the easiest way for us to get it, is the ebook download. If you do want a hard copy, what we'll have to do is you write into True Oracle or to me. We'll get what the postage is for the hard copy, and then they'll just ship it over to you directly. So that's what we would do. So anyway, let me see. Dar, my darling Lady Z, do you feel like you're wearing half of a fur stole? I do. And there was Scooby. So I have Shaggy. There was Scooby. She was waiting to come on this shoulder. I can't take it. I can't take it like that. Because look at this. He thinks I'm going to put him down, and he's holding on. So there we go. Thank you, Kimberly. Bless you. Thank you so much. When you read this book, it will be worth mailing. Now, I say it's a hard copy, but it's not a paperback. It's one of those soft copies. Okay, I don't know. So let me do something here. I want to do something for you all. But see, I'm being very picky because I'm going through and doing a lot of the editing, and going through and doing a lot of the editing means that I want to make sure that it's perfect. I'm going to read you just a little bit from it. How's that? I'm just going to read you a little bit of the book, and we'll go from there. I'll give you maybe the first page. How's that? I don't know if we can do an audio book, but here is the first page. Chapter 1, Stewardship, or Stewardship of Self. Now, this is his book. My name is Lord Greggor. I was born July 11th of 1528 within the stone walls of Vale Keep. The sky that day was marked by signs the local people found unsettling. I entered the world with red hair, a trait then burdened by superstition during a celestial convergence that was read as an omen rather as a wonder. In that era, fear governed all interpretation. What could not be understood was judged dangerous. Signs were observed, conclusions were drawn, and because of this, I was removed from my parents and the halls of my birth. It was not an act of cruelty, but one of belief. Such were the times. Prudence often masqueraded as mercy, and fear frequently wore the mask of protection. My early years unfolded elsewhere, shaped by discipline rather than family. I was educated in governance, military command, philosophy, and classical scholarship, not because I sought authority, but because my bloodline required it. Preparation replaced my childhood. Observation replaced innocence. I learned to listen before I learned to speak, and to watch long before I learned to act. The path back to Vale Keep did not open until my parents had passed from this world. My mother was the first to leave. Her death altered the rhythm of the household in ways that lasted for years. My father, burdened by political obligations and extended far beyond our lands, found himself increasingly alone. Between his grief and his demands of diplomacy, his attention drew outward. He ceased to oversee the daily governance of the keep. My only sister had long since married and moved beyond our borders. Her death and the loss of her child in childbirth extinguished the final living thread of my immediate family. With no remaining kin and no heirs, duty summoned me home. When I returned in 1632, I entered the halls older than memory, charged with stewardship over lands and people that predicted my birth by centuries. What should have been learned across a lifetime was placed before me at once. The weight of continuity settled upon my shoulders. I knew then there would be no retreat. I found Vale Keep surrounded by silence and stone, but beneath the grandeur, the internal rhythms of the household had begun to drift. This was not failure of character, but natural consequence of divided stewardship. The estate had softened. It was not broken, but it was misaligned. Order had loosened. Precision had dulled. Accountability had vanished. Such a decline is subtle. It does not announce itself through catastrophic, but through accumulation, small deviations that compound into systemic weakness. A house of this scale requires a staff of 53 to operate with dignity. I found it reduced to 8. So that's the first opening of this book, and that was Bilbo who was going on. So there we are. There we go. So yes, he is my baby. That was Bilbo. That was Bilbo. That's what he was doing. So anyway, it will make, now I'm probably going to make some changes still, because that's just the way it is. Victory for MSU? I don't think so. He's just not, this is technically, even though it's about his stories, the stories of Vale Keep, the stories of him, and, all of this, he probably wouldn't be, that's just not his bag. And he had there was a question of whether to keep it here, because so many, when we first started, gave us a hard time about who he was and what he was and all of these things. He was a little taken back by that, but he seems to have warmed up to everything right now. So anyway, Lady Zelda, you would make this a wonderful audiobook. You have a wonderful voice. I'm not really a reader, but this captivated me. Well, thank you. We're thinking of that. I would like to have it in his voice, frankly, but I don't know if, well, let me see if I can get, there we go. I don't know if I could get him to do that. I mean, I am blessed to be here and be able to do what I'm doing. So, I don't want to push the envelope. So there we go. Yeah, so it's a combination of coming on 498 years of advice, of knowing how to act, knowing what people make. I mean, this is kind of it's not only his life story, but it is all about principles of living, principles of mortal living. And even though he's human, that's the way it is. That's his story, and he's sticking to it. So that's the way it is. So anyway, my darlings, look, I want to thank you. Hold on. Carrie, you sent me an amazing message, and I'm wondering if it would be okay. She sent me a very generous Venmo, and she sent me this great message. I was wondering if you would allow me to read it, because I love it. I love it. You decide and let me know. If I can read it, I'd love to. Does LG describe when he realized he was immortal? He knew it. He knew it when he was 19. when he was at Poneri Castle looking for another military soldier. But this, through the 30 Years' War, is when he realized what immortality was. And the very interesting thing that I find is that he basically has shared that there are many in history that are just like him. In fact, he doesn't want to say for a fact because he doesn't know. He told me. But he said George Washington has all the signs of being immortal. And I was watching, I think it was on Stars. They had, when I was watching The Outlander. Hello, who wouldn't watch that? But they had like a preview of this new series they were having come out, and it was George Washington. And one of the officers looked at him and said, "Look at you, look at your uniform. It shows where you had been." I'm just going to say there were things that, holes, and had 7 times. And he said, "Why aren't you gone?" And he said, "I don't know." And that's kind of like what George Washington, because he was injured many, many times beyond what would normally no one could withstand. So there were a lot of things. How does he see today's world? Much easier than what he's been through. When you have to think about a lot of, countries, think about the 30 Years' War. That was almost all of Europe during that time. There wasn't really a safe place in Europe. And it was a kind of a religious and then a political war and everything else in between. He thinks that this is much easier. And he said, a lot of people complain they should have lived back in the day when people didn't eat for 3 or 4 days and they made about equal to 25 cents a week. So that's kind of that's something to think about. And then the plagues that went through, those very dangerous plagues, and how they would have to quarantine and keep to themselves and all these things. Yeah, buddy. And so I kind of learned, I'm not a complainer about environment, because I believe that we all make our own economy and our own environment. I don't complain about it, but I hear people, and then after seeing the stories, after seeing the books, right now we have 110 books that I have put on digital copies, and some of them show libraries, but they were in his scriptorium, so I don't know. So when we have the members only site, that I will upload those books into an area where all of you can go in and read. And they're not going to come across like a PDF. They're going to come like a book that if you want to turn the page, you're going to see the page turn. That's how it will do it. That's how, because it will be quality. Okay. So Carrie says, I can read her message. And this is what the message on Venmo says. And I just love it. She has a very generous donation, and then said, all the kitty haters, love to all your fur babies, to you, Lady Zelda, for all you do. I just love that. Yeah, what she said. What she said. So yeah, I did see the message. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, back to Lord Greggor's time compared to now. It's night and day. I would think I'd rather be in today's world. Oh, definitely. Some people's, you see these romantic times of Lord of the Rings, and he would never sit down and watch that. I think he's read the books, Tolkien books, but he would never, all this Lord of the Rings and the dragon, all that stuff. And it's just not that way. When you see how they treated women, and you see how they you know, and of course he was not, that was not his side of the aisle, and he was never brought up that way. He is very respectful when it comes to, and he learned, I mean, he's a nobleman and he's military. So it was not, um, you know, it was not something that it was every day. He said that there were some trying times, that he had lost a lot of people that he cared for during these times for one thing or another. And you have to think about that too. You know, have to think about that. So anyway, that's where we are, my darlings. Now, I got to tell you something. Most of you know that I introduced the application for the rice jar yesterday, last night on my Help I'm Haunted live. Okay. And I started a channel, sorry, erase. I didn't start a channel. I started a new rice jar just for this channel, for he and I have particular goals too. And I'm going to tell you a way out goal that I'm manifesting, and you just don't know. It just may come into fruition. And I think it will be. But I started this yesterday, and I put this information in the Rice Jar app. And if you'd like to see the Rice Jar app, my darlings, go to the True Oracle Psychic Shop. I'll put the little banner up here for you all if you want to head on over there and take a look at it. And today, about 4:30, something that would have had to happen in order for me to make my own personal goal here within this realm happened. And my goal may just become a reality. Now, what is my goal? My goal is to have an extension of Vale Keep here in the United States, and it would be Vale Haven. We would like to be in the mountains because that's what is more similar to him. And it would be easier for him to travel coming through mountains. So I'll keep you posted. And as we get further and closer to Vale Haven, because you know, I've got a little vision board on the inside of this. I have Canva. I don't know if you heard of that or not, but it's like you can go in and you can make all kinds of little things in it. And I just went into Canva and started making a little vision board. And frankly, that's where a lot of these ideas came from, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want a cozy office. That's all I need. Because if you would all see what I have here right now where I'm sitting in my office, I've got computers and equipment and, you know, Windows and Macs and a laptop and editing software and sound machines and, you know, And the reality is, my darlings, I need room. And we have a goal together. And because certainly we're not going to be fixing this up so he can just stay there and me here. But it's much easier for him to travel than it is for me. I don't travel well. I'm just going to tell you that. Flying, I just don't travel very well at all. He understands that. So most likely he would be coming here. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to go there because I need to. Now, will I open this up to the public? Probably not. It's going to have to remain private. And I know that you understand that. But I will share some things about it. I will share pictures. I will share things about the house when it comes time. So you can look forward to that. And I will keep you posted on all those things. I'm excited about it. And he's helping me make that a possibility as well. But something happened that just That's what happens when you're manifesting. You don't sit here and think, oh, how can I do this? I would have to win the lottery if I did that. Well, first of all, I don't win the lottery, so I'm not going to play the lottery, right? Right? So what you do is you just put it out there and you're thankful for the end result. And that's what I've been doing. I'm so thankful for Vale Haven. I'm so thankful for Vale Haven. I am just so thankful for Vale Haven. I love Vale Haven. I'm so thankful for Vale Haven. And then boom, today, about 4 hours ago, someone contacted me and went, you know, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to go, we're going to go forward with what we talked about 3 months ago, and we want you to be at the helm. Okay, color me there. And I want you to know, when you're manifesting, if something like that happens, you don't sit and go, oh, really? Are you sure? Are you sure you want me? Absolutely. You grab it with thanksgiving. And when it came in, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Of course, color me there. And well, are you too busy? Never. Never. I have the time for this. Absolutely. I will make the time. Embrace the rice jar application. It's a one-time little charge of $10. It's on your phone. It's on, you can put it whatever you have that has a internet. There you go. Okay, question. How does Lord Greggor do with modern bathroom facilities and electric? Fine. I mean, he's not a caveman. You know, you have to think, he did come up, he was not around Vale Keep a lot, and he did come up through the years, and when he travels, like he was in Innsbruck with Valdemar, and he was in wherever with Valdemar. I mean, the man's got to go. Got to go. He got to go. He's fine with it. He knows all about it. It's not, so he's not primitive. So there are facilities there at Vale Keep, and they're putting more in and all that. So yeah, I get it though. You know, you have to wonder. There were many, many, many questions I had when I first met and the idea of him, because you know what I thought he was. And then I just had to think, I've met 2 other immortal people before. One was a female, one was a male. Interesting as all can be. Interesting. I'm telling you, and you know the difference. You know when you're not being gaslighted. Is that a word? Gaslit? Gaslighted? You know when you're not being in a situation where you got the wool pull over your eyes. But, you know, always ask questions. We love the questions, and if he can answer, he will. Let me see. Yes, doors do open for me because that's me, and they can do the same for you. No reason they can't. None. No reason. Thank you. Christine, thank you, my darling, for everything. Well, you know something? I can't figure out when you sleep. Me either. Me either, because I'm always on the phone after midnight. Always talking, you know, it's those moments where I'm like, other than did Jesus eat a grilled cheese, right? You're starting to think that. I'm going to tell you something else that I just think is amazing. During the scriptorium and taking all the books and everything else, because you know that the scriptorium used to be a chapel inside of Vale Keep during the big working days, and people would come there and they would have services inside of Vale Keep. He is Christian. So it was kind of funny because I was reading these books about all kinds of different things. And it's like, wait a minute. I never knew this. There were nuns that would visit Vale Keep, and they stayed there, and you would never know. And there's a difference between a nun and a sister. I'm not Catholic, but I never knew this. He told me that the sister were the ones that would go out and meet the public, and they would, they would do the service to others and, all these other things. But the nuns would be, he called cloistered, meaning they would stay in private. And being a nun was a job that they obviously would volunteer for, and they would stay behind closed doors for almost all their life and do nothing but pray for humanity. Isn't that something? So you don't really meet a nun, you meet the sisters. I just thought that was excellent. So there we go. There you go. Free will to change the channel. There you are. Good question, Patty. Did the other immortals that you met have similar lives as Lord Greggor, or completely different? Completely different. There used to be a lot more than what they are right now, as far as he can tell. He knows of some, but a lot of them can't handle that idea, and a lot of them self-delete when it comes to that, after about 100 years, and they haven't aged, and families move on, and they can't handle it. So that the two that I met, the woman was so interesting. She was Hispanic. She did not come from any type of noble birth, but she was a wealth of information. The other one, I don't really know where he was from. I think Mediterranean area. But again, so interesting, and world stories and life stories and everything else. It was just amazing. So there we go. Let me see. Patty, do me a favor, darling, and check your email. The mods in here, please check your emails. Pardon me. Thank you, my darling. Thank you. You're going to see how that comes in very, very good way. I'm just so excited. I can't stand it. So I want to tell you before we go, thank you so much for your patience, because I know that all of you love these. I love them too. I'm just trying to get my bearings, quite frankly, on my workflow, because I am a one-woman show. Captain Jerry is here. She's doing a couple of things for me, but I'm a one-woman show. Most of these creators that you see, they have teams. Like Emily D. Baker, she has a whole staff. And believe me, God bless her, she needs it. I like her. I've learned a lot about her, but I'm just going to say this on this channel. In my other channels and my other live streams, I always like to lift up other creators. That's what we do. That's what we should do. My opinion about other creators is just that. It doesn't matter. And it shouldn't matter to you or even to them, because still the idea is lift people up. People change, and they do better when you lift them up. What happens when you push someone down? Well, of course, that's going to mess with your psyche, right? That's going to mess with you. So you're going to sometimes, in some ways, you become even a bigger bully. You would not believe some of the comments that I've gotten. And I'm going to tell you, I hide most of them. I know the buzzwords and I hide most of them, but when I go in there and I see it's seriously disgusting how they can take such a stand against former ex-trooper Proctor and former now resigned no good, and yet act that way on their own. Name calling. How can you like this person? That's ridiculous. How can I'll tell you why. Because that's my business, pal. And usually people don't do anything to me to offend me. If people will do things to me to offend me, I ask why. Why did that happen? If they don't have a reason, or if they do it just because someone else told them to do it, well, guess what? There's called a delete button. There's called a remove button on this platform because we are so privileged to be here. Why anyone would want to put that privilege online and talk about other people in a very derogatory way, other creators, being bullies. Why? If I don't like somebody, what is it my business to try to convince somebody else not to like them too? What are we? In 6th grade? No, we are adults. I'm not going to get in the middle of that. And here's the thing, my darlings. As you know, after the first of the year, I didn't come live in a long time. And it's because there were some that tried to pull me in and to take sides, and I refuse. The only side that I'm on is of the creator, my family, and check your spam button, my darling. You too, Terry, of the creator, and I'll send you another one if you didn't get it. And of my family and of my little fur kitties. And you're going to see me, I have become so intolerant of this type of behavior that it's appalling. And quite frankly, I don't understand it. There's good in everybody. And if something has happened, okay. Okay, right? And so I just want to make that statement here because I'm going to make it tomorrow night. Because from now on, these channels that I'm affiliated with will recognize if someone has gone to the Proctor School of Charm. Because if so, out. I have no nothing for that. Jackie, bless you, my darling, because you know what? You are so true. It's always the women. Women can be so vicious toward each other. And you know what? That is so true. I don't know what breeds that, but I don't know. But no Proctor School of Charm graduates, I don't care who they are, or they'll be removed. And the mods already know, because we have such a great community. Look what a good time we've had. I've had a good time being here. I know when LG sees this, Lord Greggor sees this, that he's going to, he agrees. This is new territory for him. All of this bickering and backbiting and clawing and scruffing around and all that crap. He just would rather just walk away. There were a couple of times that I was hanging on. He's okay. He's okay now. So anyway, Carol, thank you so much. I look so forward to these chats because you do lift me up in so many ways. You make me smile, laugh, listen. Everyone is so nice, and they are. I do know bullying, so I understand. Love you and your channel. We love you back. That's why we love you back, seriously. That's why we want you to understand this is a safe place and this is a good home for you. So there you go. There you go. Linda, bless you. Oh, mercy. Know that you want to keep your privacy private light. You never can tell the way the world is. Absolutely. I told the lady that owns True Oracle today, if anybody ever questions why I like the paranormal world, I can certainly feel that it's a little safer. At least you know what you're dealing with. There you go. I know people here throughout whatever genres, and some of them are being, their jobs are being called, their homes, threats. What? That is just too much. That's too much. Oh, Patty, did you get it? Did you get it, my darling? Did you get it? I guess you did. Good, good. Kimberly, your channels are my happy place. I arrange my weekly schedule. Thank you so much, my darling. You're so sweet. Now, don't forget, tomorrow night we'll be on my channel and True Oracle. We're going to be looking at the SAM app and the other apps. I want to say we may just have open energy night. If John O'Keefe wants to come through with energy, if Nancy wants to come through with energy, whatever, I mean, we're there. We're there. We're there. Thank you, Starbright. You're a darling. Oh, look at that little sweet pea. Thank you. I love that little kid. You know me. No, I don't like cats at all. Right, Shaggy? Look at this. Got his little hand here. Look at that little man. There we go. So there we are. Let me see. There you go, my darling. There you go. Good, my darlings. Okay. He is a rescue. Oh, bless you. I love your Rice Jar app. Thank you so much. You're welcome so much. Listen, it works. I am so excited. Every day I'm so excited to see what happens more. And I'll tell you what, that person who called me today, unrelated to YouTube, unrelated, because all of you know that I do some other type of consulting work that is unrelated to the tubes of you. When he called me and he said, oh, by the way, and he called me back, because then I called Canada and said, hey, by the way, I want to give you a heads up. I've got this and this and this. I'm sending it over to compliance, do this and this and this, whatever. Because there is that corporate side of me that is act like a lady, think like a boss chick. That's my motto for years. Act like a lady and think like a boss. And you don't need that thing swinging around either in order to do that. And a lot of women who are bosses think that they have to be that. And you don't. You set boundaries. You know. Listen, I've had a lot of training in that sort of thing. Anyway, he calls me back and says, oh, by the way, don't you love those calls? I do. Oh, by the way, just wanted to let you know, I probably have more coming next week. And instead of going, oh my God, I said, oh, great, I'll count on it. Okay, I'll count on it. You see, I appreciate that. Great minds think alike. That's what I always tell my client. And I want to tell you this in this other, and it's in the financial world. I'm just going to tell you. I will tell you this. After every call, It doesn't matter what type of a call. After every call that I have, and LG has heard me do it, after every call I have when we're saying goodbye, I'll say one more thing. Is there anything else I can do for you? Is there anything else I can do for you? And when you start, that makes you the boss. When you have that authority to be able to offer that service to a good client, the business that I'm in, and I can tell you this much, the business that I am in is I help arrange funding for humanitarian purposes, like creating jobs, bringing water into areas that don't have it. There's so much, so all around. And this gentleman has a cancer research company, and we're doing what we call a capital raise for that cancer research company. It's amazing. And so I'm very blessed. And I'll tell you what, the group in Canada will always call me and say, we have this file, this file, this file. Tell us which one is going to fall out. Tell us which one is going to go. And guess what? Your girl Zelda has a 100% accurate rate. And I have been doing that. And that's one of the reasons that they hired me. I've been doing that for a very long time, over 18 years. So there we are. There we are. So and listen though, don't take me as a softie, because if I need to go toe to toe with someone, I will. But sometimes my toe to toe isn't exactly what other people's toe to toe is. My toe to toe is seeing what the problem is, addressing it quickly, and getting it out of my way, because I don't need that type of obstacle. That's how it works. Look at this man. That's our mama's man. Are you sleepy, Shaggy? Him do. Thank you, my darlings. Thank you so much. You all are so wonderful and kind. All of you are kind. Yeah, see, look at this. And it's like, I don't care. I'm baked, Mommy. He's like, I'm baked. Look at him. I love those silent meows where they just do. You gonna say hi to everybody, Bubba? He's just so sweet. So anyway, he is a lover boy. But listen, about 5:30 in the morning, wow, it's breakfast time. Breakfast. He's breaking it first. Comes in, wow. I'll turn on cat TV until I try to get awake, because I usually don't go to sleep until about 4 a.m. So I turn on cat TV and he'll sit there for a minute and look, and then it's like, wow. Okay, so then I get up and go to the water closet. He bursts in, wow. And that it just doesn't stop until he has his breakfast. So there you go. He's not snoring. He's not snoring. He is content, because this is how they all are. Look at that. Do you think he's smiling? I think he smiles. I think animals smile. I really do. And for those who want to come in to my channel, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. Wait a minute. Sorry, Riley. He looked at me like, what the heck? So yeah, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. So, oh, where is my sit down demon? Gosh, you know what? We haven't done Karen Reed lives in a long time. Where's my sit down demon? Oh, is it not on here anymore? Oh, so I guess I pressed the wrong one. I don't know where my sit down demon is. I'll have to. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Ready?
Sit down, demon.
That was loud. I'm going to have to figure that out. They smile. Anyway, my darlings, we're just talking now. So I totally, look at this. Who's Mommy's angel? Hi, everybody. Here we go. Hi, everybody. I don't want anything. I'm cute and I wanted you to see me. Okay, now it's slap happy time. So, oh, you know what? I love that. Vale Keep bookmarks. Okay, so stickers, bookmarks, candles. I can put the flags. Do you like the emblems and the flags that are in here? Do you like those? Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat. Yes, you're welcome, Wolf. I don't put up with it. I won't. And you can tell my beautiful mods that are in here that are on my channel. Out. Not going to put up with it. I'll tell you another thing that I get that I'm about over it. Like if I ask questions during my readings. Do you think that Nancy Guthrie really did go home? And then the attack is on. You said you saw her. So what did you do? Did you lie? Out. If you ain't got enough sense to know the difference between a statement and a question, there you go. I'm not on X. I'm on X. I have not taken any battering on X. I won't start over there. I just won't do it. 1. Okay. So you all like that. Good. Okay. So I'm going to start putting that on. I'll put it on some sweatshirts, some t-shirts. There you go, my darling. So we'll do that maybe this weekend. I'm still working on the website and I cannot wait for, oh, wait, maybe I can. Let me see. You want a little sneak peek? I'll try to show you. Let me see where we are with this. I have been working on the website, and this would be now for my channel, and it's okay for Lord Greggor to see it. He won't be jealous, I'm sure. So let me see here. Let me see if I can show you. I'm in the middle of building this, and let me see. I want to show you. Oh yeah, you're going to love this. All right. Okay, my darlings, this will give you a preview, and then we'll let you go. This is a preview of what this is going to be. Ready? Oops, no. It's kind of scary when a psychic says, oops. All right, so here, let me see this. There we are. House of Lady Zelda. There we are. Now, keep in mind, this is pullover hoodies. Okay, you got it. This is the website. It's under construction. Okay, here we are. Now, let me see. I'm going to look at this. There you go. Let me see if I can get it to go. Let me see if I can get it going here. Why aren't we going? Where are we? Nope. it should be, anyway, it should be, this is animated. Let me see here. Preview, here we are. This is the study, and this fireplace is there. It's animated. It's going. There's going to be fireplace loops. This is the study in which you enter, and then down here will be the site map. And you can see there's the library. There's a lot of good things. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger for you, a little easier for you to see. And you can see there's a library, reading room, investigative study. So what you'll do when the time comes is you'll each and every one of you go into this, and you can click on what room you want to go into, and you can just go into it. I don't know why it's not animating right now. It should be, but it's not. So maybe it's because I'm sharing it, and let me click on animated. Or no. There's the welcome screen right here. There we go. You see this? That's coming into the welcome screen. We'll let that play for just a second. Now, all these images are mine. I've made each and every one of them. They are not images from anything else. So this would be the front screen where you would come in and then click, and then there would be a place for you to sign in. So then here is the study. There we go. There we go. It's going. There. You can see that it's starting to shape up. Starting to shape up. Let me go back here. And then this is my private study. And this is where it rains, because I like the rain. And you can see the fireplace going. And so there's going to be a lot of really great rooms. A lot of really great stuff. So there you go, my darlings. And that's it. So that's all coming. That's all coming. So I can't wait. I can't wait. Thank you so much. You guys are great. I appreciate you so much. And you know what? I'm all about you guys, because if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be here. So there we are. There we go. Thank you so much. So, my darling, with that being said, do you want to see the intro again? I can play that as an outro if you want to. I'll play that as an outro right now, and then we'll do the little Sammy outro, and now all of you can say goodbye. And we'll do that. So I'm going to play that right now. I want to thank you. I'm going to see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. But here is the intro. I'm going to play it for you again, because some of you came in and you didn't get to see it. Here we go, my darlings. Thank you so much. And we will see you again next time. Our best from Vale Keep, from our castle to yours. See you soon, my darlings. Bye for now. I'm Lady Zelda. Welcome to Vale Keep.